I see Pat and Michelle, welcome. Janet, hi Janet. Nice. We'll give it another 10 seconds just because it looks like a couple more people are coming. All right, I am going to trust Lauren to start the recording.
Hi.
Hey, Dorian, good to see you. Okay, well, let's get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Church of Infinite Spirit. It's so nice to see you all here today. My name is Reverend Jamie Endriss, and if you're new to this church, please know that we're very glad you're here, and we welcome you. And to all our friends who have been here before, it's great to have you back too. Welcome, everyone. Our community has been meeting in Denver since 1999, and we're grateful to now be able to reach out and connect with you in this new way. We're meeting on the Zoom video conferencing platform, and there's a couple cool things about Zoom that we can use. For those of you that are on computers, we can use the chat feature. Just mouse over the bottom of your screen and your options should appear. Also, there's a mute or unmute button on the bottom left of your screen, and we'll keep you muted during the service, so no need to worry about that until later. And there's a video stop button there as well. So you can see everyone on the Zoom in equal-sized Brady Bunch type boxes by selecting Gallery View at the top right of your screen. Or you can see a larger version of whoever's talking by selecting Speaker View. And the button just toggles between the two views up on the upper left, upper right. If you're using the Zoom app on a phone, you should have those features too. So, on to church, the Church of Infinite Spirit. It is the mission of this church to inspire spiritual freedom by supporting people in knowing themselves as spiritual beings and as part of the consciousness that creates this universe. And we support the joyous transformation that comes from that experience. You'll notice that, among other things, this is a very casual space. So please relax and make yourself comfortable. We hope to capture the intention of church as a respite from the noise of life, as a space of remembrance of our own spiritual nature, a place of joyful connection. We are non-dogmatic and non-judgmental. So there's no control, punishment, or reward energy here. We respect your divine right to create your own reality and manage your energy as you choose. I'm so glad you're taking a break with us today to remember your spiritual nature and give to yourself. It's always a take what you can use and leave the rest environment. When we share, it's with the intention of inspiring you to find your own truth rather than convincing you of ours. I would encourage you to take with you whatever works for you and to simply let go of anything that doesn't. Let's begin with a short meditation. Meditation is a great way to center ourselves and let go and become present in this moment to what's happening right here, right now. Meditation makes everything easier because it reminds us of our spiritual nature and opens us up to new possibilities. Doing it together is so powerful. Our method of meditation uses a simple, guided 3-step process that employs imagination and intention. If you'd like to join us in this meditation, it's helpful to close your eyes and place your feet on the floor. So let's begin. Take a nice deep breath for the body. Close your eyes, put your feet on the floor. The first step in our 3-step process is to connect ourselves to the earth through a grounding cord. So notice your tailbone, that spot at the bottom of your spine that meets your chair, that place where you'd have a tail if you had one. Choose a color that appeals to you right now, and imagine a colored beam of light growing from your tailbone, down through your chair, through the floor, through the Earth's crust and all the layers of the Earth, right into the center of the Earth. Again, this is called a grounding cord, that colored beam of light, and it serves as a trash chute for energies we don't want or need anymore. Imagine those energies leaving your space, going down the grounding cord and into the center of the Earth right now. Just let it go. Notice how it feels to be connected to the Earth in this way. The second step in our three-step process is to focus our attention in the center of our heads. Notice that spot behind the eyes and between the ears. This is the center of clear vision or clairvoyance. You automatically open your sixth chakra by placing your attention here. Focusing here is a good way to calm the mind and the body and bring yourself into this present moment. Notice how it feels to be focused in the center of your head. The third step is to choose a color for your aura bubble. The aura bubble is that field or bubble of energy that surrounds our bodies and it goes to about an arm's length out from the body in all directions. It's part of what defines us and our experiences. The aura bubble is made up of energy. And to manage it, pick a color. It could be the same color or a different color than the grounding cord. And imagine painting the outside edge of that aura bubble the color you choose, or imagine the outside edge just becoming the color you choose. Make sure it goes all the way around the bubble, over the top of your head, below your feet, around the back, the sides, and the front. Notice the way that it contains your aura bubble and how it feels. And recognize that you can change this color and the way you feel anytime you like. So now, notice yourself grounded with your attention focused in the center of your head and your aura bubble painted that color you chose, releasing all the energies that no longer serve you down that grounding cord. And notice the way you feel in this moment. Now, let's add back an energy or vibration that you'd like more of in your experience to replace the energies you've been releasing. What energy do you want? Could it be love or joy or peace? Just pick one And now picture a big gold sun or a golden ball of light right above your head. Make it nice and big and bright. And write the word for that energy you chose across the side of that golden sun. If you chose joy, write Joy across the sun and watch as that word absorbs into the golden energy that the gold sun contains, till you have a nice big vibrating ball of energy above your life. And imagine poking a hole in the bottom of this big gold sun and allowing the energy to flow down into the top of your head, down through your body and into your aura. Notice as it flows down through your head and neck, your shoulders, and out your arms to your fingertips, into your chest and back, your belly and hips, down through your legs and feet, and then watch as it expands out into the aura bubble till it fills the aura bubble with that energy you chose. And you and your aura are vibrating at love or joy or whatever energy you chose. Notice how this feels. And notice that you can change the way you feel anytime you like by bringing in a big gold sun. Take one more moment to notice how you feel in the present moment, grounded by that colored beam of light connecting you to the earth, focused in your center of head, sitting there in the middle of your aura bubble, painted the color you chose, and having brought into your body and energy field the vibration you chose. Take another deep breath for the body. And when you're ready, open your eyes and stretch. Notice if you feel different from when you started. In the paradigm of information we work with, managing the energies we carry and being present to this moment can make a big difference in our experience. Meditation helps us remember that we have the power to change our energy and so shift our experience. Okay, so today I want to talk about saying yes to what is. We've all heard the old Yiddish proverb that when we make plans, God laughs. But have you ever noticed that when you laugh along, when you're an allowance of the things that are happening around you, rather than resisting them, that your life flows more easily, that fewer things go wrong or trip you up, that your experiences are typically more graceful? It's one of those spiritual truths that, although our world quite often teaches us to be in opposition to the things that we don't like or our plans not working out, if we let go of that opposition, things seem to work themselves out more smoothly, with far less frustration and irritation, and fewer hitches along the way. As spiritual beings inhabiting a body experiencing the earth journey, we often forget while we're in our body that we're also part of the vast all-one consciousness, which has a broader understanding of that which we are and that which we came here to learn and become. When we relax, when we say yes, when we let go of resistance to the earth journey, we start to float down the river instead of trying to swim upstream. And we make a whole lot more progress that way too. So as we consider that, it is 2020. Is anyone else having a year where a lot of your plans and expectations have all been blown up and you have no idea what's going to happen next? I certainly am. Everywhere I look, I find opportunities to say yes to what is. Since the last time I spoke at this church on March 1st, quite a bit has changed unexpectedly in my world and the world in general. On March 1st, we met in person for church, and it turned out to be the last time for a while. We knew about COVID-19, but Colorado didn't even have its first confirmed case yet. We had no idea what was about to unfold. And in a way, we still don't. Nobody knew how political it was going to get or what we were all going to have to do about it. Indeed, it wasn't even officially called a pandemic until the 11th of March. As a society, we hadn't yet realized how essential workers really are, nor had we lived with the sheer terror of not being able to buy toilet paper when we needed it. We hadn't yet learned concepts like flattening the curve and sheltering in place and social distancing. Most of us had no idea how many people were living on the edge financially. The idea of unemployment rates tripling and quadrupling, huge government stimulus packages, and closing down large swaths of the economy had not yet been conceived of by most of us. Many people's lives became pretty complicated because of it. And the pandemic has highlighted basic differences in how many of us see the world and what we want society's response to it to be. A lot of this hasn't been easy to say yes to. We also didn't foresee some outcomes that might be easier for a lot of us to say yes to. Nobody yet realized that air pollution would be reduced and wild animals would benefit from less human activity and more quietude. When large numbers of people started working from home, it wasn't anticipated that many of them and many of their employers might want to keep it that way, even after the pandemic ends. And that after letting go of a lot of our usual busyness for a time, that settling into a slower pace had its advantages, and many of us would want to keep saying yes to that. By the way, was anyone else pleasantly surprised at how many companies really stepped up to give individuals who were struggling financially a break? I know I was. Interestingly, too, we have seen innovation at its finest. I grew up hearing the old chestnut, necessity is the mother of invention. But never in my lifetime have I seen so much effort and creativity being expended to solve a problem. From ventilators and medications to the race to produce PPE and vaccines, it seems that individuals, groups, companies, and the entire medical community alike have worked hard and smart to develop solutions. And as always, comedians have used humor to lighten us up. As Irma Bonbeck once said, when humor goes, there goes civilization. You know what they're saying about 2020? It's gone viral faster than anyone thought possible. There's so many coronavirus jokes out there, it's a pandemic. Okay, so in my personal world, the company I work for reset its priorities in response to the pandemic. It placed employees and customers' health and safety above all else, followed closely by the health of the company. I was very proud of the way they handled it. It was easy to say yes to that. However, they also instituted a pay cut along with furloughs to plan for a drop in revenues. Not an easy thing to swallow, especially since I was one of the ones who was furloughed. But I I ultimately agreed with these decisions, and I said yes to them. I'd rather they did this than have to lay people off permanently later. And in mid-May, I embarked on my first summer of not working since I was in high school. And truly, what's not to love about having the whole summer off? Especially since I was assured that I'd have a job in 12 weeks when it was time to return, so I could truly enjoy the free time. But everything was changing so fast. It was a bit hard to trust, and I realized I had a growth period ahead. The financial piece was a bit scary, to be completely honest. I had to apply for unemployment, which I'd never done before. I had no idea how quickly or slowly my benefits would come, and there was a question about how it would be figured. I also had to figure out how to structure and spend all that extra time. My time had not been completely mine to spend however I wanted to for many years. And what all that added up to was an opportunity to trust the divine all-one consciousness in a deeper way than I ever had before. And what I discovered was that the more I said yes to whatever was happening, the better it all went, and the more smoothly everything flowed. Through all the uncertainty and trepidation, I applied for unemployment. And to my surprise, I received it quickly and like clockwork. The financial piece was going to be fine. I then set some intentions for spending my time. I wanted to increase and deepen my meditation practice. I wanted to read more books and exercise. I wanted to do some reorganizing around the house, and it was May, so there was a ton of yard work to do. Beyond all that, I wanted to hike and spend time in the mountains and even take a vacation. I wanted to connect more with friends. And with that tiny little list in mind, I wanted to slow down. So I said yes to all of it. I allowed myself to do things as I felt inspired to, not forcing anything. If I was ready to tackle that reorganizing project or work in the yard, I did that. If I wanted to nap, I did that. I invited friends to come visit in the shade in my backyard with me, at a good, safe distance, of course. I told friends that I intended to read more. And as a result, I was gifted a tablet to read books on. And I got an early birthday present, a 3-month subscription to Audible. And because of all that, I spent a lot of time reading and listening to books. And now I know how to check out ebooks from the library. I also looked into a bunch of meditation apps. And I dug into all the guided meditations on the innerconnection.org website, which, by the way, are a great way to get yourself started with meditation when you haven't for a while, or are resisting it, or just want to increase and deepen your practice. I said yes to all of this as I was inspired to. And at some point, I'll probably subscribe to one or more of the apps. But meanwhile, I'm having a great time saying yes to exploring and to my daily meditation practice. Hiking, day tripping, and vacationing were actually a little more challenging. It took a few weeks to get clear on the logistics of going to the mountains in the middle of a pandemic. But I did go hiking, and I took a couple of epic day trips all over Colorado. It was a great reminder of how much I love living here and of the scale of the universe and my part in it. And I did it by saying yes to the safety precautions that made sense to me, and by letting go of any resistance and worry that cropped up from time to time. By the way, after one of these hikes, when we got home, I got out of the car and I discovered that the sole of one of my hiking boots had separated from the upper part of the boot. Then I saw that the other boot was about to fall apart as well. What incredible timing. Thank you, God, that they didn't fall apart on the trail. So I thanked the 20-year-old boots for their service, and I said yes to their timely end. And I started the search for a new pair of boots. I found a pair I wanted online. They were expensive, so I searched for a sale and ended up saying yes to an even better pair at a huge discount. It happened to be the only pair they had left, and it was in my size. I really felt the flow of that whole experience as I let go and trusted the divine that all was well. We never did take that vacation because by the time we got clarity on where we wanted to go, and we're just waiting to find out the date of a gig my partner had, my boss called and said they wanted me back early. It happened on a Thursday at the end of the 8th week of furlough, when I still thought I had 4 more weeks to do whatever I wanted. And they wanted me back that Monday. It all happened so fast it felt like whiplash at first. I had to put into practice all the work I'd done on deepening my trust in the divine. Was this really my path to have been promised a whole summer off, only to have to give back 1/3 of that time so abruptly? It would have been easy to resist, to be angry, to feel jerked around, and to lose the trust I'd gained. And for a little bit, I did go into resistance. But I decided to say yes to what was and use what time I had left, that one last weekday of furlough, to take another day trip, this time up to Rocky Mountain National Park. I hadn't been up there in years, but it was definitely on my list. Of course, there were logistics to be navigated, but we said yes to all of them, and we got to take a breathtaking drive up that peak-to-peak highway and saw a glorious sunset. It was a great capper to the now 8-week furlough, and I'm so happy we said yes to that trip. Then I turned my attention to returning to work. That weekend, I meditated a lot, and I shifted my energy from one of resistance to one of saying yes to whatever unfolded. I returned while my closest colleague was on vacation. So I said yes to whatever chaos or ease would ensue. I began by creating a new routine in which I meditate before work every day. And I also spend more time reading and connecting with friends, even though I'm back at work. And having let go of that resistance, my re-entry actually turned out to be incredibly graceful and easy. And I said yes to the irritations that had been there before furlough that remained. And to my surprise, several of those have shifted in the 3 short weeks since I went back. One of those was a difficult coworker, and within a week, she was no longer working with me. It happened that quickly, once I recognized what was going on and said yes to her being who she is and to a better way to handle the situation. I'm operating differently. I'm keeping the reset and slower pace for my life that were created by the extra time the furlough offered. And my priorities have shifted. I'm saying yes to myself more and to a better balance in my life and to spending my time the way I want to more, both during and outside of work, instead of being so reactive to what others want. It isn't easy sometimes, but it's incredibly rewarding. Letting go of resistance and saying yes to what is has opened up the flow in my life this summer in ways I could only imagine pre-furlough. But I'm not perfect. I can still forget myself and go back to that old resistance habit from time to time. What about you? What might you be resisting these days? And hint, anything you aren't in complete allowance of or are frustrated by or want to change and can't is something you may be resisting. Is it possible that you don't yet have a full picture of that thing you're resisting? That the all-one consciousness could be showing you something or guiding you in some way? What do you think would happen if you said yes to everything that's outside of your control? Are you open to the possibility that if you did that, that everything might flow more smoothly and easily, and in ways you might not even be able to anticipate? So let's meditate on that and see if we can let go of some resistance. So to begin, if you'd like to join the meditation, take a nice deep breath. Close your eyes, put your feet on the floor. First, let's check in with that grounding cord. If it's still there, let's let it go and create a brand new grounding cord. So just release it from your tailbone. Let it drop into the center of the earth. Now, imagine a new colored beam of light growing from the base of your spine. It can be the same color, it can be a different color. Just watch as that grounding cord grows from your tailbone, through your chair and floor, down into the surface of the earth, down through the crust and the layers of the earth, right into the center of the earth. And just intend to release any energies that are no longer serving you. Let's begin by picturing a clear three-dimensional bubble out in front of you, kind of like a soap bubble. Next to it, imagine a picture or symbol that you can use to visualize any situation you're having a hard time accepting, or are frustrated with, or are in resistance to. Such as, for example, a picture of a person you're upset with, or your checking account that may not have as much money as you'd like, or maybe your company's logo to represent a difficult job situation, or simply an image of yourself sitting alone at home when you'd rather be out doing your usual group activities. Whatever comes up for you is just right for this meditation. And choose just one situation for now. You can always go back and do this again for another situation if you have more than one. And just picture that image sitting there next to the bubble, side by side. Now, use your awareness and imagination to notice or imagine where in your body and energy field you carry resistance to this symbol or this situation. Is it in your head or your solar plexus or behind your back? Is it in your knees or thighs, in front of your belly? Where do you notice tension or feel it or sense it in your body or aura field when you look at this symbol? Just hang out with that resistance for a moment. Acknowledge it and allow it to exist without resisting it. Really let yourself have that resistance just for a few moments for purposes of this meditation. We're not going to hang on to it for long. Just let it be and be with it. Notice that you are not wrong for resisting the situation, nor is the situation wrong. Acknowledge that it served a purpose in your life, and even let yourself be grateful for it for a moment. Now, allow that resistance to release from your body and aura and flow right into that bubble in front of you. We'll use that bubble as a container to absorb the resistance that you carry. If you'd rather, you can also let the energies you release during this meditation go down your grounding cord. Either method is fine, but I'll mostly be talking about releasing it into the bubble. Imagine moving that resistance or watching it as it flows right out of your body and aura and into the bubble. Really let it go and let it all move out of your space. Keep it going into the bubble until all of it's gone. Just keep releasing more resistance into the bubble. If your bubble gets too full and you need a second bubble, or a third, or a fourth, just keep imagining another new bubble and another, until all that resistance energy, all those thoughts and feelings that you're ready to let go of right now have moved out of your body and aura and into that bubble or bubbles. And when you feel complete, when all that resistance you're ready to let go of has been released, watch as those bubbles float up and away like a balloon on a clear sunny day. Up and away, far, far away until you can barely see them. And then watch as they pop and the resistance inside of them disperses. And know that it never needs to return to you. Notice how you feel having let go of all that resistance. Do you feel more neutral to the situation, or lighter and more able to accept it? There's still more resistance to let go of, don't worry. You can always do this again anytime you like. And you can also intend for that resistance ongoingly, along with any other related energies, to continue to be released down your grounding cord. Now, let's replace all that resistance you just released with the energy of yes to help you create space for allowance and acceptance and love and appreciation of your journey. To do so, let's bring in a big gold sun of yes into your aura and body. Picture or imagine a big golden ball of light right above your head. Make it nice and big and bright, and then make it bigger, maybe as big as your aura field. Write the word yes right across the side of it, Y-E-S, and watch as that word absorbs into the gold sun and the energy it contains, and makes that gold sun vibrate at the energy of yes. And then when you have that big golden ball of light vibrating at yes above your head, imagine reaching up and poking a hole in the bottom of it, and enjoy the feeling of yes as it flows into the top of your head, down through your body and aura. And you really soak up that vibration. Really fill in your body and aura with that gold energy. Let it flow down through your head and neck, shoulders and arms, your chest and belly and back, your hips and legs and feet. Let it continue to flow and expand into your aura bubble and really fill it up until your entire body and aura are vibrating at yes. Notice how it feels to have released all that resistance energy and replaced it with yes. When you're ready, take another big deep breath. Open your eyes and stretch. And notice how different you feel than before we started the meditation, and how easy it is to change your experience. Okay, so normally this is the time in the service where we pass a basket and ask for your contributions to the Church of Infinite Spirit. Since we can't pass a physical basket right now, we are accepting donations with deep gratitude on the website at innerconnection.org under the sanctuary menu. Please consider supporting us if that feels right in your heart. We ask that you contribute only what feels good to you from a place of joy and appreciation, and never out of a sense of obligation. We are a nonprofit and your donations are tax deductible. Please know also that your contributions do make a difference by helping with the website and other things that make this space possible. And we trust that the totality of your contributions will return to each of you many, many fold. So now, as is our tradition, I now have a few cheesy jokes to lighten the mood. These are literally cheesy jokes. What do you call cheese that isn't yours? Nacho cheese. What cheese surrounds a medieval castle? Mozzarella, of course. And what is a cannibal's favorite cheese? Limburger. Okay, so I have a few announcements. First, there will be a little social time on the Zoom after we close the service. It's like we normally would have after our in-person service. So please stay and join us for that if you would like to. Also, there's a couple of classes to let you know about. Lauren Skye will be teaching a class called Using the Tools on August 18th. And this is for grads of the Meditation for Living program to ground your tools if you'd like. And of course, you can be a grad of the Meditation for Living program for free. So just go to innerconnection.org website, and it's under the classes menu, under all classes. And of course, Using the Tools class is also there under, you guessed it, Using the Tools. Also, enrollment for the Graduate Spiritual Journey is open, and there's even a limited time COVID honoring sliding scale fee. All the information is on the website under classes. And that class begins on September 12th and goes for 6 months. And if you've completed the clairvoyance training and are ready for more, it's really a great way to further your journey. I've found it to be personally very rewarding. And again, all these classes can be found on the website at innerconnection.org under the classes menu. So, as we release this time we've spent together and move into the next part of our day, I sincerely thank you for being here and for the gift of your time and attention. Two of your most valuable resources I'll leave you with this quote from E. E. Cummings, one of my favorite poets growing up. He said, "I imagine that yes is the only living thing," meaning that yes rather than no is what makes things happen. I invite you to remember that it's okay. It's even a great idea to say yes to what is and notice the increased flow in your life as you do. Say yes to all of life, even the parts you wouldn't choose, and watch what unfolds. Thanks so much for coming today. Appreciate it so much. So good to see everyone. And now, if we haven't already, we're going to stop the recording. I'm assuming Lauren